say it better
It's
this
just me.
Hello, folks. We are recording. This is the Principles and Values subgroup of governance with Karen leading. Hey, Karen.
So last time I think we left it.
And I assume everyone else can hear each other.
Can you hear us, Barry?
Barry rhymes with staticky.
Okay, I might just dial back, and then I think I'm the only one who can't hear everybody else.
Can you just take your earbuds off and use your computer speaker?
Does that work, Barry? Can you hear us?
Nobody else is staticky except Barry, which rhymes with staticky.
Yeah. Could be connection, whatever.
Yeah, you're a little distorted for me, Jonathan, but it clears up over time.
Oh, I'm just distorted.
Yeah, I hear a slight amount of static from you, John.
Yeah, these are $5.99 earbuds from 7-Eleven.
So, Barry, are you with us? Can you hear us?
I can hear you again. Yeah. I
You're not staticky anymore. Great.
Sound great.
Okay, so where we left off last time was that that we were going to continue to flesh out and finalize definitions for the core values that we got together from our members, and there was questions about how we were going to proceed with principles, and we should have a discussion about that now. My feeling is that currently to proceed with taking the ICA principles which we have adopted and customizing them towards our chain specific. I pulled them up in another folder which you can share, so we could go through the language of that and customize that to our chain. In terms of developing our own specific principles fleshed out based upon our values, I am wondering, and this is open to you guys, since we have now, once we finalize our core values, I am of the feeling that we could use those to guide policies in the future, as well as to flesh out principles which will be specific to the area of the co-op they address, meaning that there will be principles that those values will guide in areas of to do with bounty system. Obviously, the platform will have their own separate set of principles, but I kind of feel that once you have those values at the forefront, some other companies call those values guiding principles. In fact, the name of our core values could be changed to a principle, be like collective intelligence, and have some more specific guiding rules of thumb that go along with them. But at this point in time, I am reluctant to go down and flesh each of those out, and I just want to know what you guys think of that.
I think that's a wonderful approach, and I think that if we did not do that, that some members would complain, by dealing first with the ICA principles and then tailoring them and considering that the core values that we've expressed are either expressed in how we present them or are handled in some other way. But the first step, I agree, is let's say how in our chain we feel the ICA principles will be interpreted.
Other guys, anything? Is that a yes from Jonathan and Barry?
Silence is assent.
Okay. Okay. Great. Barry, are you still with us? You disappeared. I can't tell whether you're here or not. Well, I'm going to share my screen. Google Chrome. Okay. So I think, is Barry coming back online? What's happening here? Can you guys tell? I see a little phone thing. If you can signal us, Barry, that you are still with us. There you are.
I'm with you. I've been with you. I don't know what's going on, but I could hear you that whole time. What I tried to say, but I guess you didn't. It didn't transmit, was that I strongly support your proposal. I think it's great.
Okay. So I have pulled up, here are the ICA co-op principles. So I thought we could just read through them, and I'm going to rely on, I know that some of you guys probably, Jonathan in particular, know the specifics of our bylaws that could address the way some of this language is done. Is that correct, Jonathan?
These are our principles, not the ICA.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. What I'm seeing on the screen is not the ICA.
No, this is the ICA right here.
Nope.
Yeah, it is. I copied and pasted.
I think we're seeing the final values.
Yeah, we're seeing
from the definitions we created.
I think.
Well, I just changed my. Are you seeing my screen? Because
no,
it might just not have updated for us.
Yeah, you're showing us one window, not the whole screen.
Okay, I see. So, so I need to go to stop share, and then I have to. I'm sorry, you guys. Technical.
You might have caught it from me.
Over the river and through the woods, to grandmother's house we go. Yeah, you're gonna have to select a different tab.
Okay, now where did my? Oh Jesus, this is so silly. Okay, so where is my Zoom window now? That is what. There you are. Okay, here we go. Select the correct tab. Okay, let's do this. Okay.
You did it.
Well done.
All right. Okay, so here we have, and so let's just go through each of these and see what language should be updated to reflect our chain. So voluntary open membership, cooperatives are voluntary organizations open to all persons able to use their services and willing to accept responsibilities of membership without gender, social, racial, political, or religious discrimination. I'm sure that we could just change this to
can we just all collectively think on that sentence?
We could just say our chain.
So I was just going to say, I think, I don't know that we have to sort of do this right now, but it seems like able to use their services is something to be defined, and willing to accept the responsibilities of membership requires defining what are the responsibilities of membership for the co-op, without taking a stand on what either of those things are. I think that's the shape of this Mad Libs.
So able to use their services is an interesting thing, because to be a member of the co-op as a consumer co-op, that would be in line. Would anybody want to amend this sentence? Barry, did you think that we needed to expand on this?
I don't know that the sentence itself needs to be rephrased, but I do think it would be good in the background somewhere to be capable of clarifying what the services are that we have in mind and what the responsibilities are that we have in mind.
I would gently argue that that could be defined in the TChain specific thing later, but only gently arguing that.
No, in fact, I would like to flag it and punt on it because I don't know that we're the best positioned to weigh in on either of those things, but I think we are the best positioned to sort of create a ticket for the appropriate person and say, hey, these are things that we really ought to clarify.
Okay,
cool.
So I put a note in the document, so that's highlighted.
And can we say politicals, comma, religious, or other forms of discrimination?
Gender, social, racial, political, religious, or other.
If we're quibbling, I would just change there to its.
This? Its.
Yeah, because it's referring to the cooperative as like a singular entity, no apostrophe.
It's no apostrophe.
Oh yeah, right, okay. Okay.
I'm content.
Nice.
Okay.
Me too.
Democratic member control. Cooperatives are democratic organizations controlled by their members who actively participate in setting their policies and making decisions. Men and women serving as elected representatives are accountable to the membership. In primary cooperatives, members have equal voting rights, one member, one vote, and cooperatives at other levels also organized in a democratic manner. So I guess this comes down to our formation, what the language should be about us.
So do we presume, I mean, we could axe that third sentence and just mention somewhere TChain, comma, a primary cooperative, or not, if that's not the case.
Jonathan, do you guys have the answer to this question?
Okay, Karen, I want to ask that as we go to each new thing, that instead of reading it aloud to us, we each be just allowed to read it to ourselves in our own heads at our own rates, and then report we're done reading.
Great.
Okay, so Barry, what was your question?
Oh, I was saying, I think that third sentence we might eliminate because it's saying in primary cooperatives, members have equal voting rights. I think we've heard many times one member, one vote invoked with reference to our co-op. So I think we could say something like TChain cooperative, comma, a primary cooperative, or as, something along those lines, parenthetical, is a democratic organization controlled by its members, one member, one vote, who actively participate, blah, blah, blah.
I don't think we need the word primary. I don't think that adds any meaning.
You think just reference the one member, one vote thing?
No, I'm talking about the first paragraph where Karen was typing. I'm sorry.
I agree with you because to most people, they don't know what a primary cooperative. So as long as we say that we have one member.
Right. Okay.
Now,
well, I agree with that, but then I would still think we could just drop the third sentence, but let's hang on to it until we get there and we'll see.
Okay, I want to hover over that. Are we really one member, one vote?
That's a good question.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, I think a number of people agree that we need some kind of multi-stakeholder decision process. that, that there's better, pure democracy doesn't make good decisions generally, although whatever process we come up with needs to be approved, one member, one vote. So we're one member, one vote when it comes to, major policies and things. But those policies could be other decision processes. That's all we're saying.
But in our bylaws, as it currently stands, each member has a vote depending upon how much of a quorum it gets to putting it on a ballot or whatever. But essentially right now, that is the case.
I think the current bylaws do mention one member, one vote, and it's something that's said a lot. I think in practice, the bylaws also have some language that is sort of protective of incumbent power structures relative to a pure democracy. So in particular, if you read the section on how someone becomes a member of the board, they have to first be picked by the nominating committee, and then the board gets to whittle down at their own discretion not only the list of people given to them by the nominating committee, but also the number of seats that will be filled, and they get to control something like which people are subject to veto by a majority of the membership versus which members are like actually running against each other. So if I read the bylaws correctly as they stand, if I'm the board and the three of you are nominated for a seat on the board, I can say, if there are two seats open, I can say, Karen's running unopposed for this seat, so she gets it unless you vote by majority not to give her a seat. Jim and Jonathan are running against each other for the other seat. So I bring this up just to say that while it is nominally one member, one vote, there are clues in the current bylaws that suggest that a really pure democracy is not.
Yeah, I think we can say one member, one vote, and that's sort of like saying that it's not by how many rocks you own or whatever.
Right.
Well, doesn't this sentence clarify that men and women serving as elected representatives are accountable to the membership? In other words, the membership elects representatives.
No, that does not clarify it. This is a totally different issue, and Barry's comments also apply to equal voting rights, because I interpret the current bylaws as implying weighted voting rights.
But saying that men and women are elected as representatives, which would be like the board, are accountable.
They're not elected, though.
They're not elected? The board's not elected?
No.
They're not. I thought they were.
Yeah, they will be this October.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, they are, but subject to the power not really kind of being distributed 1/n among the members to determine who fills the open seats on the board, or even how many open seats there end up being on the board. If you read the bylaws literally, they're a little bit odd, they're fairly complicated, and they don't read the way that you might expect them to. If you hadn't read them and someone asked you to describe them, you would probably say, there are 9 seats on the board. If there are fewer than 9 members, then, X number of seats will be open. As many people as want will run, and they'll be filled by a vote by the members. And it doesn't work that way, which is not to say that each member doesn't have one vote. I believe it is the case that each member has one vote. It's also the case that structurally there are some corridors that are a little bit maze-like along the way and not just straight hallways.
Candidates are not chosen one member, one vote, but the elected, the final vote is one member, one vote.
I want to provide a bit of history here. The bylaws were derived from REI. REI is a cooperative that's been around for, I think, 25, maybe 35, 40 years. In their evolution, they encountered various challenges that made them pull back on some aspects of a pure democracy. I do know somebody who knows a bunch of the inside story about how and why this all happened. My vote, my one vote here, my one member vote, is that this one is actually a very challenging paragraph. And I would like to propose that we put this one on hold just for now and possibly engage some other people. And this is in parallel to a discussion that I started having with some people at TChain and Barry independently came up with, which is about the TChain business plan. And I think that we need to, this one, I guarantee I will not be happy with whatever we come up with today amongst the four of us as being truly representative and correct. This one should be tabled, but not for long. Is my vote.
No, I feel good about this. I mean, I don't know exactly what's happening, but it feels like we're making progress. I think setting one aside because we need more information is acceptable, and we'll come back to it.
Jim?
Okay. All
I
right.
think this document should be moved into our folder. Set to at least anyone can comment.
Isn't it? I thought I'd already done that.
No, if you click on the drive symbol up there, it'll say it's in your drive.
Oh,
No, it's not in your drive. Where is it?
It should be in the Principles and Values drive. That's where I put it. I uploaded it there.
Weird.
Is it not showing up?
Well, I did a search and I didn't find it, but let me look there.
So I think maybe we'll pause to read item 3, and I'm chuckling because I think if the business model is a sticking point, then this one might be tough too. But let's see how everyone feels.
I think we should make whatever changes are obvious, and then let people, other people come in and and make our comments.
So Jim, are you saying you can't edit this document right now?
Well, I can't find it right now. I didn't look in the agenda.
Okay. Let me just make sure it's accessible for everybody really quick.
Well, if you put it in the right folder, it should be accessible.
Well, it is in I put it in here, but I uploaded it as a Word doc and then I converted it to Google Doc. So it should be, somebody else want to open the Principles and Values Google Drive just to make sure it's showing up there for you? I need to go back and find the link.
Well, should we just wait and do this at the end?
Not in there.
Okay, so show me what do I need to do to get it in there right now?
Well, it's very interesting that it's in limbo now because the button says add it to your drive, and
yeah, Karen, go to File.
Yeah.
On the upper left, hold that down for a second.
Yeah.
I don't see the option. Oh, share. It would be share, wouldn't it?
Share?
No, that doesn't move it.
No.
Oh,
But
I could
you're going to have to add it to your drive and then move it.
Okay.
oh yeah. So add to my drive and then move it.
It's
Yep.
added to my drive. So
I don't know how it could not be in your drive.
well, then, so I have to go to my drive in order to.
No. Now you can click on the file symbol.
Okay.
No, well, yeah, or the file icon, and you should have move now.
You mean this one?
Now,
Which file icon?
right where the add to my drive icon used to be.
Upper left.
Oh, this?
No, middle.
Ah! Okay, why don't we take care of this at the end of the meeting?
Yeah, we'll do it after the meeting.
Oh, poo. Okay, this is not good. Here we are. Yeah. Okay. We'll do it after the meeting. I'll figure it out. I just want to make sure that I have my edits here. Okay, there they are. Let's just keep going. I will be secretary. If somebody wants me to type something in, just tell me.
Okay, we're going to read it. Number 3, right?
Mm-hmm. Wow, this one gets complicated for our group.
Yeah, it's turgid.
Yeah, more than really any other item, I'm going to submit this one is fundamentally about the business model of the co-op. And so if that's TBD, we probably need to punt on this one.
I think it's fine to keep it for the time being, but yes, it requires, this is intimately tied in with our business model, not just the business plan. Oh, Barry, by the way, I don't think I said this before, but Kate Gonzalez and Bill Swan from the co-op are going to possibly lead the charge on developing the updated business plan for TChain. And Kenny very, very strongly said, let's have some community involvement in this. And I said, oh, funny you should ask. I've been poking around and looking for qualified candidates. Who might that be, for example?
Thank you.
Oh, I didn't say you. I didn't say it. Okay, autonomy.
We'll let Kenny draw his own conclusion.
No, I specifically named persona. Okay, so we read number 4.
Autonomy and independence. Cooperatives. Okay, read.
Love it.
Except that's not the way the money's being spent.
Well, except for raising capital, there's no dollar signs in here.
Just self-help organization, no less.
Oh, yeah, thanks.
Do we know what that means? What is a self-help organization?
Meaning that we are in alignment with collaboration and mutual support along the philosophy of Kropotkin.
Okay. Got it. Okay.
Although maybe that language should be clarified. How about in an autonomous organization based on mutual support?
I like that better.
Because self-help immediately, because of the pop culture referend, immediately brings the mind to the wrong part of the bookstore.
Exactly. It's like what was wrong with us before.
And we help each other.
Although one of the 5 principles of cooperatives is self-help and self-responsibility, but whatever. Based on mutual support.
And controlled by it.
Yeah. That's a good 3-letter word. TLW.
I think self-responsibility and helping others are both what we want to express.
Oh, yeah. Self-responsibility might be good in front of mutual support. You're going from inward to
I like
outward.
that. Based on self-responsibility and mutual support.
So is it a list? Is it based on self-responsibility, comma, mutual support, and comma, and member control?
Collaboratively something by their members. Based on self-responsibility, we're going from inner to outer here. So we're talking about the self.
How about that?
We're talking about mutual support, and then collaboratively, not controlled, but collaboratively choreographed.
Steered?
It's the right word, but it's the wrong word.
What
Choreographed
about
is
steered?
The cooperative is controlled
Collaboratively steered by its members, or collaboratively verbed?
Yeah, there's a verb here. Collaboratively verbed.
But isn't the definition of a co-op is that they are controlled by members?
Yes, but control. I'm personally rankling against the word control.
I would
philosophically
orchestrated, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned choreographed, orchestrated. I like orchestrated.
I'm having a problem with that because the whole point of defining a cooperative is that the members are in charge, right? So if you say orchestrated, that doesn't necessarily define them as having authority.
Karen, have you ever played in a symphony orchestra?
No, I have not.
Well, I have. And if you piss off the conductor, you're in trouble. No, okay,
Who's
okay,
the
sorry.
conductor here?
Sorry. So controlled, choreographed, orchestrated. Okay, self-responsibility and mutual support. Collectively determined by? Collectively agreed upon? Collectively...
You could say orchestrated by the members themselves, if you wanted to.
Governed by their members?
That's a slippery one.
Well, I mean, if Ian were here, he would be apoplectic over the idea that we're going to water down the word controlled, which was handed down by the clergy of ICA over centuries on the mountaintop.
Right,
I actually like the word controlled here personally because I think it's important that we maintain that the members have authority.
Okay, I yield the table to the collective intelligence.
Well, why don't we?
Its members.
How about we
why don't we collectively controlled by its members, but highlight controlled for a comment and write, this verb has been questioned and flagged for possible revision.
Barry, you must be psychotic. You read my mind. There's a long story behind that one.
That's not why I'm psychotic.
No, there's a long story behind that one. It involves a diner in South Carolina.
Okay.
So then if it enters into agreements with other organizations, yada, yada, it does so.
Okay, I'm happy with just having a comment there. Oh my God, we're moving forward. Let's get educated now.
Oh, and maintains its, sorry.
Go ahead. It maintains.
Its.
Yeah, got it. Just a little slow here.
And then the other one small thing is if it enters into agreements. Beautiful.
Okay.
Awesome. I love number 5.
Yes.
Oh my God, it's perfect now, Karen. Thank you. Well, S. It's members. But otherwise, it's pretty perfect.
Oh, so this is interesting. It informs the general public, particularly young people and opinion leaders, about the nature and benefits of cooperation.
Well, that we can, about the nature and benefit of our chain cooperative or blockchain cooperatives or platform cooperatives. So we could change that if we wanted to.
I love it though.
Okay, as an old person, I take offense to this young thing. Is that not in opposition to the lack of discrimination
that
of others? I'm 137 years old, and I'm sick and tired of all this emphasis upon millennials. They make me sick. Sorry.
I think we can all get behind that.
I think it's fine.
So if we wave our grammar wand and turn it to it informs.
Where are you? I'm. Where are you?
Right after the cursor.
Our chain informs the general public.
Oh, okay, I got it. Sorry.
Yeah. We might want to put a highlight around.
We just say the co-op rather than.
Sure.
Yeah, or just it.
And we might want to put a comment or highlight around particularly young people and opinion leaders, just because some people might.
I wonder if we should just drop that. I mean, I don't.
I like the young people part. But.
Well, Missy, it must be nice to still be young and beautiful.
I wouldn't know about that myself. Okay.
Should we add that? The co-op informs the general public, particularly beautiful people.
Maybe we could say particularly fresh blood and opinion leaders. No, never mind.
That's going to scare some people.
Yeah, but maybe Keith Richards would come on the board.
We'll be hanging up garlands of garlic.
Can we just highlight particularly young people and opinion leaders as something to be discussed? Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
Love it.
The word particularly is suspect there, I think.
Yeah, it starts with a P. It's called problematic.
Okay, we'll put some thought into that. Cooperation among cooperatives.
Yeah, so this. It seems like stating this in the active affirmative is like our chain cooperative works together with other cooperatives or something. I don't know. I think I've seen some statement along these lines written in various places.
Okay, so I'm just.
But I don't think we need the serves its members most effectively
I
stuff.
agree.
I mean, that's supposed to be the symptom, but I think it's something like,
I would say,
you know,
I would leave in strengthens the cooperative movement.
I would leave the serves most effectively. I'm not a fan of that edit.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
What about our chain cooperative works together through local, national, regional, international structures to strengthen the cooperative movement or something like that?
No, I really think serves most effectively.
I would hit a few Control Z's and go back to where we were and comment on that.
Okay. That sounds
Because you know, we are part of a movement. We're not just trying to proselytize our chain co-op through our engagement with the platform co-ops and other co-ops increasingly. We're trying to rebuild how capitalism works.
You could, yeah. I don't know if we want to say that, but
No, of course not. And you can edit this this video afterwards. Okay, thanks. Thanks, pal.
Effectively and strengthens the cooperative movement by working together through local, national, international structures. I don't know what that means, though. By working together through local, national, regional, international structures, co-op structures?
Oh, okay. Good point. Structures is a P word. It starts with S, but it's problematic.
well, here's the issue.
Well, isn't it something like working with other cooperatives, working with, you know, I mean, if we're making it really specific, it's like works. I mean, without even trying to put it into words that we're going to use here, but just thinking about what the content behind the words might be. We
I have
are
seen
working with, yeah, go for it. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I have seen wording that I wish I could bring to mind. That's good because you know it's cooperatives and cooperative-like structures, or you know, I mean, it's there's places where I read that kind of wording. And
How about this? Change structures potentially, Karen. Don't start typing yet, but just think about what I'm saying here. Regional and international cooperatives and organizations interested in becoming cooperatives or working with or something, because there's an element of proselytization here.
So say that sentence again.
Regional and international cooperatives and organizations interested in the cooperative movement, because there is a bit of evangelism here. Jim, would you agree?
I think that's closer.
Keep speaking. I want to get it down before I forget. So then we can.
Okay. International cooperatives and other organizations interested in learning about the advantages of cooperative organization. I think that's pretty darn close. We can highlight it for future edit.
Yeah. And then maybe add a parenthetical and supporting Jonathan in his personal campaign to overturn capitalism.
Oh no, that's the hacker next door, little Timmy. He's 14 and he's on it.
So it's funny how throughout this document they hyphenate cooperative. I don't know whether.
Yeah, we need to come to consensus about the proper usage.
Do we want to hyphenate and then just not hyphenate when it's ours? I don't know. Hyphenate, not hyphenate.
I think there's actually a style guide from the co-op. Yeah, the co-op whatever.
What does it say?
I forget.
Okay. All right.
Well, this is their principles that
This is
we're
their boilerplate.
revising. So presumably,
Yeah.
Yeah, they tend to hyphenate. So we'll revisit that. Well, actually, here they're not hyphenating. Up here they hyphenate, so they're not even consistent in their own document.
I know. So that's worthy of a comment at the very top.
that's sinful.
Yeah.
That's worthy of a comment at the very top. Let's get consistent.
Yeah. Okay,
what's
so
the famous
I'm just going to do it.
Let's get consistent. Let's get consistent. No, that's the wrong song.
You know, it's sort of a norm that I've seen in some places is that the first time it's used in the document, it's hyphenated, and then not again.
That's cray-cray.
Cray with a hyphen or without?
No, cray-cray, that term of linguistic usage, that a term might be embodied in one form initially and then subsequently embodied in a different form. I cannot think of another linguistic example of where that occurs, except perhaps in epistemological prolegomemnon.
This item, I think we could, are we okay with number 6? I'm good with it.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm okay for now. I think other people will have opinions on the wordsmithing, and we'll get it sorted.
Okay. Concern for community.
So, I mean, this one is nice. And I'm going to pause before I say why, because I don't want to be rude and speak over your reading it.
Cooperatives work for the sustainable development of their... Sorry, I read faster than that. I think it's innocuous and valuable simultaneously.
Well, I agree. I mean, I think it's also interesting that I think beyond the superficial inclusion of the word sustainable, I wonder if this is an opportunity that we want to incorporate the core value of sustainability kind of into this principle, or if we believe that what we have in mind with that core value is sufficiently distinct that it's worth having its own principle when we get to that. Because I know we said, let's work through these and then append new ones crafted around our core values, but maybe we can knock out one of those core values presently in revising this.
Barry, go ahead, Karen.
My issue with that is that the title of this is concern for community, which to me, sustainability would be a separate, addressed in a separate topic.
I did have that gave me pause as well.
Excellent point, both of you. I also want to add that Barry was providing presage to my thinking about distillation of values into principles. And I think that when we get to principles, maybe even today, sustainability should be unpacked in many ways.
I agree.
Can we flag sustainable as this word needs to be unpacked when we derive principles?
We are writing principles.
I'm sorry?
Well, but we're going to address it. Will be addressed.
Well, yeah, I mean, as far as the title versus, yeah, okay, so yeah, but that's interesting because an alternative, I mean, so what I was proposing was, hey, let's jam that value in here. What I'm hearing you guys leaning towards is basically, let's potentially not even invoke the term sustainable. Let's focus on concern for community presuming that we will be unpacking in-depth sustainable and what that means to us later, so we don't even need to cling to that here, which I think is another nice alternative.
Well,
I think sustainability is meant in a different sense here, and maybe that should be clarified.
Yeah. Exactly.
I agree.
Exactly.
Yeah. So Karen, can I request an edit here?
Yes.
In your comment, instead of saying will be addressed, will be unpacked.
Oh.
And a simple way to address what Jim and Barry both said would be to simply throw in a 4-letter word, but it's problematic as well. Cooperatives work for the good of their communities, but good is, it might be 4 letters, but it's complicated.
I think
I don't know if you tracked the commentary around the poll, but there was some debate about whether good can be defined ex ante or ex post.
Exactly.
Individually or not. So that was kind of an interesting little thing.
Right.
In the ICA values, we chose the top 5, which are considered co-op values. On their website, they have 5 others that they believe in, which are similar to ours. We did not highlight them and carry it over, but one of those is something that has repeated in ours, which is care for others, and this is similar to concern for community. So I'm thinking, personally, if we can flesh out concern for community without focusing on sustainable, and I kind of going along with Jonathan, which is there's something about that because, you know, our chain as a community, we focus a lot on that development. I mean, you know, Jim has talked about a lot, you know, what we do with Discord and the bounties and so on and so forth. So maybe we could focus this particular principle on our own community and somehow, I don't know, that's my thinking. And
I think this goes beyond our community. You know, it goes through our cooperation. You know, and something like sustainable social and economic development could be.
By their communities, you mean other cooperatives or the community of cooperatives, not just the Archain community?
Right. This is talking about cooperatives in general. Working, okay, their communities. I see what you're saying. But, you know, we might want to specify here social and economic development as opposed to sustainability of the Archain network itself. I don't know.
Well, Jim, if we wanted to, we could make a Germanic train wreck of a noun by saying socioeconomic ecological sustainability.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's great. I love it.
I was kidding.
Well,
don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
I'm a little confused by that proposal, unless it was tongue-in-cheek. I thought the idea was to do the whole sustainable ecological bit in the subsequent iteration on sustainable.
It was tongue in some organ, yes.
Somewhere?
Yeah, tongue-in-cheek.
Fair enough.
Well, the good news, though, the one reason why I kind of like that we keep the sustainable in here is that, you know, for some people who are skeptical of some of our values and principles, the fact that we've already adopted these officially as being a co-op means that we have already adopted this principle.
Mm-hmm.
Capital C red, cred.
Yeah, so since we have already adopted this principle as written, maybe we just add to it or tweak around the edges. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong here.
This one's a little...
The concern there's a separation here between the verb concern and sustainable, not the verbs, but it would be good to, I think, better specify it so that we're emphasizing the um, the more the aspect.
I mean, do we need to kind of consider what community means here? I think the vast majority of cooperatives are probably somewhat geographically specific, maybe very geographically specific in like sort of grocery or agricultural related endeavors, even in any other natural resource extraction.
Co-ops tend to be hyper-local, yes.
Yeah, well, and maybe hyper in the sense of very specific, but local in the sense of being geographically rooted in some way. And I think that will not be the case nearly as much for us. I don't think. I mean, clearly there is a sort of Seattle partisanship. So Seattle has a special status as an R-chain locale that is not shared by other locations in the United States. Berlin might some months have the same kind of special status. Maybe Singapore or some other such place as well. But in some sense, I think there's that geographic component, but I think there's also other potential notions of community in the context of a platform that I think we all aspire to be one of an emerging class of like truly global institutions contra the past several centuries of intuition built around there being a paucity of truly global institutions.
Oh, I have a 3 words that might help this. So of their community efforts and intentions.
I'm not, for me, I come down to that this concern for community is bringing in the idea of service, which is
right.
that we as a cooperative are not just here out for ourselves. We have to be aware of those around us in our world. In Seattle, it would be us. In Berlin, it would be there. But the idea that at some point we have to be, sustainable development of their community to mean through the policies approved by their members, meaning that we may choose to do something of service to a community that we're operating in, which will change over time, different places around the world, and people will choose their own things to do. But I like that idea.
How about if we just do sustainable sustainable development of service to their community?
Well, I'm just stuck here trying to get some consensus around the notion of community that we want to be using when we say this. So I was forwarding that in its typical use, this means like your cooperative grocery store is on this street.
I am so sorry, you guys. I look at the time. I have an appointment to be to. It's now 3:05. I am going to have to leave here, but you guys continue on. I will just leave my window open if you want to work on this last one so I can figure out how to convert this document to the thing. But I'm so sorry.
Put the address in the the URL in the chat.
Okay. I want to make sure. I'll make sure it
Thanks,
works.
Karen. Sorry if we made you late.
No, I just noticed
think
the
we
time.
did.
Where is
Well,
the
we
chat?
should probably limit ourselves to just another couple minutes because we did state an intention to be more or less on time, and it would be a good precedent if we were able to achieve that.
I think we've done good. Yeah, I mean, it was, we got something done, and there's so many meetings.
Wait, I'm trying to add to the chat. Why is it not going?
I think we can call it a meeting.
Did you
Okay.
hear?
I agree. I think so too.
Did you
All
hear
right,
that?
I feel good about this. This was a good meeting.
I will share this document after the fact. All right, you guys, thanks.
Thank you, Karen.
Bye.
You're
Bye-bye.
awesome. Bye.